When did you have to teach adults basic common sense? My son came home with a detention slip for aggressive behavior. I was confused because Jake's never been in trouble. What happened, buddy? He looked down. Tommy was choking on his lunch. I hit his back like you taught me and food came out. But Mrs. Taylor said I was hitting him and gave me detention. Wait, Tommy was actually choking? Yeah, his face was turning purple and he couldn't breathe. I remembered what you showed me from that CPR class. I felt my blood pressure rising. And the teacher saw this? She came over after I helped Tommy. She didn't see him choking, just saw me hitting his back. Tommy tried to tell her what happened, but she said we were both lying to cover up violence. I called the school immediately. You gave my son detention for saving another child from choking? Well, we have a no-touching policy, the principal said. Students aren't allowed to put hands on each other, even to save a life? Rules are rules. We can't make exceptions. Did you speak to the other child, Tommy? The children clearly rehearsed their story. We don't tolerate violence in any form. I hung up, furious. Then I called Tommy's mom. Oh my God, she said when I explained. Tommy came home talking about how Jake saved him. I thought he was exaggerating, but when I asked, his story never changed. Would you be willing to come to the school with me tomorrow? Absolutely. Tommy's been having nightmares about choking. Jake literally saved my son's life. The next morning, I walked into that school with printed screenshots from the Red Cross website showing proper choking response techniques and Tommy's mom beside me. We need to discuss yesterday's incident, I told the secretary. The principal seemed annoyed when we entered his office. I thought we resolved this issue. Actually, you created a bigger issue, I said, placing the papers on his desk. According to medical professionals, my son performed the exact technique any trained adult would use for a choking victim. Tommy's mom leaned forward. My son told me everything. Jake saved Tommy's life while your teacher stood there watching. The children are clearly... Are you calling my son a liar? Tommy's mom interrupted. Because I have a pediatrician's report from our visit yesterday. Tommy had bruising on his throat consistent with choking. The principal's face went pale. I wasn't aware. You weren't aware because you didn't investigate, I continued. You saw what looked like violence and immediately punished the hero while ignoring the victim. We follow district policy. Your policy prohibits life-saving measures? Put that in writing for me. He shifted uncomfortably. Well, students should call for adult help. A choking person has 3 to 4 minutes before brain damage occurs, Tommy's mom said. Should my son have passed waiting for an adult? This is getting blown out of proportion. No, I said firmly. What's out of proportion is punishing a child for emergency first aid. Here's what's going to happen. You're removing that detention immediately, apologizing to my son in writing, and reviewing your policies with the school board. I don't think, because if another child chokes and dies while your teachers stand there following your no-touching policy, the liability falls directly on this administration. Tommy's mom pulled out her phone. I've already contacted 3 other parents about this. They're very interested in how the school handles medical emergencies. The principal looked between us nervously. Perhaps we can find a reasonable solution. The reasonable solution is admitting you made a mistake, I said. Jake followed proper emergency protocol while your staff failed to assess the situation, and training your teachers in basic first aid, Tommy's mom added. What if this happens again and no student knows how to help? 20 minutes later, we walked out with a written apology, the detention removed from Jake's record, and a promise that the school would implement emergency response training for all staff.